What's up, everybody? I've been a little absent lately, haven't been posting any videos, but I'm coming back to you today. I want to talk about what I've been into lately, which is Grand Belial's Key. Uh-oh, time to get canceled. I like blacklisted music. I really think there's a lot of bands that just get stomped online, and obviously there's reasons as to why. It's not just for no good purpose, but bands like Grand Belial's Key, Der Stürmer, Arghoslent, Thunderbolt, it's all pretty much considered NSBM. Grand Belial's Key, not so much. They just get lumped into it. But bands that are fitting into this kind of moniker of the National Socialist black metal, I didn't really know about this kind of genre. I didn't know about Goat Moon, Absurd, which those two in particular I haven't really listened to a whole ton, but there's more and more bands I keep finding, and sometimes the bands are finding me, but I think it's good. I think it's good shit. I mean, this is Riff City. Anybody who's like, bro, Grand Belial's Key is trash, they're fucking mid.com. I don't really trust your opinion on black metal. Now, this is coming from death metal guy, okay? Death metal, fucking ass suck dude. Of course, I'm always wearing the ass suck shirt. I don't know black metal as well as I know death metal and brutal death metal. It will probably always be that way. However, within the last like month, maybe two now, I'm just digging, man. Like Limbonic Art, Sargeist, how do you say that? It's Gontina Cry, Wellowy. There's another one. There's so many. Sepulture. I've found so much black metal. A lot of it NSBM. A lot of it not. My last video was Terror Front by Infernal War. If you didn't see that, check it out. It's basically the heaviest black metal album ever. Even, I've been getting into Mutilation, which is kind of more on that raw not BDSM, DSBM, sort of. A little bit of Leviathan. There's so much. It's great. And it's interesting to me that the NSBM bands are really like, there's a lot of shitty ones, but there's a lot of great ones that just get totally stomped out, and it's just because of what they sing about. And I'm gonna be real with you. If I didn't read the lyrics to this album, I would still know this is obviously, like, we're not just shitting on Christianity at this point. We're shitting on the Jews, and songs like the Shitagogue. Come on, that's pretty blatantly obvious. Even Tender-Hearted Manifesto. It's pretty obvious what we're really talking about here. But I think this is metal. I mean, metal, what the fuck? Metal's always been about talking on subjects that are considered, dark, mysterious, kind of taboo. You're not allowed to talk about that. Drug addictions and, serial killers and rapists, etc. Religion. You can make a mockery out of Christianity all day long, but you shit on the mighty Jew, and that's... you're fucked. I think that's not okay. And there's lots of bands that I've discovered that you can't even, they don't exist on YouTube. Some of them barely do, like Fatherland or Wolfnacht or Warehammer. These bands that very clearly are embarking on the Nazi imagery, yet they are almost unobtainable completely. Like, there's no Bandcamp links. Okay, Bandcamp won't allow you to distribute and to profit off of that kind of music. Discogs is woke as fuck, so you can't find any of that shit there either. It's basically eBay or some back alley website that feels really sketchy, and you'd rather not give them your debit card information. But so far, with what I've discovered, a lot of these NSBM bands are genuinely, they believe in the things that they're writing. But does that mean that we can't appreciate the music, the art, for what it is? I don't think so. I really do believe you can separate the art from the artist. And, you know, black metal being like the capital of cringe. It really, I hate that word. It's the capital of, you know, being able to just take off the filters and say the most like edgy things possible. And honestly, there needs to be a genre of music that can do that, because there shouldn't be any yellow tape around certain ideas. Like, we just can't talk about that. We can't discuss it. It's not okay. I think that's fucking stupid. You know, reality is what it is. People die every day. Terrible things happen. Everyone has different opinions, you know? This is not a political channel, because I'm not a politically charged person, really, at all. I kind of think both sides have their faults. Being a centrist has its faults too. So when music takes on these elements that are way too, you know, gets a little uncomfortable for people to talk about, does that really mean we should just banish it to hell, and it's not even considered like an option to listen to? Because if I show up and I start wearing a Grand Belial's Key shirt on the channel, does that mean I'm a Nazi all of a sudden? I don't think so, because if anything, this would mean I'm an anarchist. And I think, you know, you can listen to Rage Against the Machine without really believing what the lyrics are telling you. You can listen to any band and not have to agree directly with the notion of the message. You don't have to agree with the message to enjoy what you're hearing. So even bands that are known like outside of metal, maybe sort of just for the controversy, but like Burzum, you know, Varg, who I guess is popular again. He's been talking bullshit on whatever. I don't know. I've seen him on my feed. You know, even with like Burzum, that's a band that kind of has its own mythos to it that's connected to Mayhem, obviously, but it's separate in the fact that a lot of people will not listen to it just because of beliefs that might be surrounding the music. I think that's really unfortunate, because let me tell you something. I would have never gotten into metal if it wasn't for my ability to just try new things, right? I got into Korn, blind. That's how a lot of people probably got into metal, more than we might know. And it all went from there, you know? Then I'm like, okay, grindcore. Grindcore's really cool. And I'm like, all right, thrash metal. Death metal, don't really like it. You know, the vocals kind of too gnarly for me. And then I started getting into it with Obituary and then Suffocation, and it just went from there. We need to not set up these boundaries where it's like, you can't listen to NSBM because it's racist and it's anti-Semitic. And go fuck yourself. It's music. It's music. At the end of the day, it's music, you know. And these aren't rallies where we're like shooting people down. They're musical gatherings where we're listening to riffs, and, you know, the singer might be off his rocker, but so what, man? I don't care. I will definitely have my gripes with a band if they are just like 100% starting bullshit every time they play a show. They're damaging the venue. They're fucking inciting riots. You know, there's limits to this, but I think just going up on stage, playing a show is fine, okay? I think you should be allowed to sell your music wherever you feel like it. Bandcamp, Discogs, because ultimately what happens when we blacklist music, it might do the opposite of what you're hoping. The band makes more money. The band makes more money when you blacklist their stuff from alternate websites. The only way to get a Fatherland CD is to go straight to the band. You have to go straight to the band, because reissues are the only hope. There's really no secondhand market, because once an album disappears, it starts being sold for way more money. And a good example, because I like to talk about money, you know, I think it's a subject people should be open, should be transparent on YouTube. When I make money off this channel, I'll let you know. So far, nothing, but one day I will. This album right here, okay, the CD, about 20 bucks, $25. The record, because it's blacklisted, It goes from anywhere to $50, which it just sold last week for $50, all the way up to $350. That's wrong, okay? The only reason it sells for that much is it's a blacklisted album. And I think that should just end, all right? We gotta get rid of the blacklisting of music because, yes, there are things you will disagree with. My policy is you don't like it, you don't have to try it. You know, you dig it for a minute and then they start saying fucking Jewish something and you're like, all right, I'm out. That's fine. You don't even need to leave a dislike. You just fucking carry on your way. It's kind of like talking to somebody that you don't really like talking to. Clearly, you're not going to get your point through to them, so you just drop it and carry on. And really, I think that motto, that attitude, should be applied to music. You don't like it? Carry on. You know, I'm not a fucking Nazi, not a sympathizer, not here to defend Galal or anybody, you know, but I like the music. I like it for what it is. So, Mocking the Philanthropist review coming soon. Yeah. It's fucking music, brah. Like, really? Do you think I agree with every single album in my entire collection? I agree with every thought and opinion on every single album I've ever bought? No. That's absolutely retarded. And I think check out some bands that are blacklisted. I will help you with that. I will definitely lead the way. But, yeah, don't be afraid. You don't have to agree with the artists to like what they make, you know? So, that's it for today. That's the video. I'm back. I'm going to try and stay back. I don't like disappearing on you guys, so I hope you've been well, and thanks for watching. Till next time.